series for you. That's what I'm saying. If 10 minutes in you're already bored, you shouldn't be watching this, right? I can't. There's something about my presentation style that just does not accord with your being. And it's not a fault of you, and it's not a fault of me. This just isn't for you. You need to stop watching my series. Don't force it. Just, go do something else. If, however, you watch this and you're like, Dr. Campbell sent me in a space. He puts me in that place, right? It's not just about watching him. It's not just about his performance. But the reason why I come back to watch Dr. Campbell is because he knows how to get me to think. He puts me in that place, just like art. He puts me in a mental space where I can think critically, where I can process information better. I use him in order to get my mind ready, so, to do whatever it is that I need to do with my life, right? So that, well, if that's the case, then you're going to be more likely to come back to my lecture series because you recognize that, hey, I wasn't interested in aesthetics, but he's doing a lecture series on aesthetics, why not? You watch a few hours of the lecture series, you're like, holy crap, I can apply this to the stuff that I'm doing. I'm not an artist, but I can apply that. I can apply the concept to myself. I can apply the concept to myself on a much, 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 much deeper level. Why am I not in a piece of equipment? Why am I not machinery? Why do I think I'm so much better than a hammer? I'm just like the hammer. Me, biologically, I'm just like the hammer. I have to be useful. Not just for you, but for my family. Right? There's a certain use that I have. And insofar as I recognize this usefulness that I have, and my use is obviously a social use, maybe political, but definitely social, then I've recognized that I become reliable. Oh, we can go back to Dr. Campbell. He's he might need a break for a day or two, but we know he's going to come back, and he's going to do another series. Until he tells us that he's not doing any more. Right? He's reliable, despite the fact that what I'm doing right now is arduous work. It's not work because I have the tools of my profession. Right? I was just aware of it when I said it. I wasn't even thinking about it, which is crazy, right? It's like I'm talking, and that's exactly the point. I'm not aware of it. I'm not aware of the fact that I have my shoes on. And actually, I don't have shoes on right now. I typically do my lectures bare feet. It's weird. So I don't have my own shoes now, but it's a little indication. So if you thought that I was lecturing with shoes, I'm not lecturing with shoes. I typically don't lecture with shoes because I like to just be connected to the ground. Anyway, it's sort of nasty. Well, it's not too nasty. My office is clean. But yeah. Anywho, I totally lost my train of thought. Oh, reliability. So with respect to reliability, there is a sense in which you can rely on the fact that, hey, despite the fact that what he's doing is a difficult thing, hundreds of hours of lecturing for free is a difficult thing to do for anyone. But there is a sense in which you can rely on me precisely because I can rely on you. I have a viewership. Right? I have people, though it's very small population, I have people that allow what I do to be meaningful. So I do it for you. And some of you will gradually move on and say, hey, I watched this last few uploads, I'm not interested in any of that stuff. But then I might come back and I might hit an accord with something that you're interested in. You might drop me an email and say, hey, Dr. Campbell, could you think about doing a lecture series on X? And in due time, I will come around to most of those, right? To many of those, maybe not most of those. I'll come around and do many of those because I want to facilitate your learning. So the idea is, and it's very simple, is that we make selective choices for those tools which are reliable. We habitually, consistently select those tools which are in fact reliable. I can count on that dude. I can count on that hammer. I can count on this car, on this vehicle. I can count on these shoes. Yeah, they're worn, right? But they're comfortable, right? They're worn, but they're comfortable. Well, I got this new fancy shoe. I put on a new fancy shoe and I'm out in the field and it's too fancy. I'm aware of my feet. They look great, but they're not functioning. I choose the old ragged shoe because their comfort. Their comfort facilitates my work, and it's more about their comfort because the comfort causes me to slip out of awareness. So, explain the profound importance of the mode of being. So, page 95. So, the text, page 95, if you got the text, follow along. So I'm going to read a huge chunk out of the text. If only the simple wearing were so simple. When she takes off her shoes late in the evening, in the deep but healthy fatigue, and reaches out for them again in the still dim dawn, or passes them by on the day of rest, she knows all this without noticing or reflecting. The equipmental being of the equipment, consists indeed of its usefulness. It is reliable, right? Its reliability. So the equipmental being of the equipment, what it is to be equipment, is to be useful and reliable, right? So to be equipment is useful and, right? Equipment is useful and reliable. Okay. By virtue of this reliability, the peasant woman is made privy to the silent call of the earth. I'm going to explain that in a second. By virtue, now you guys will start to understand what I mean by universe in a second. By virtue of this reliability, the reliability of the shoe, the peasant woman is made privy to the silent call of the earth. The earth is beckoning her to harvest the wheat, if you will, or whatever the product is, the produce, or to plow the field, or to dig the ditch. The earth needs, in a sense, he's anthropomorphized, in a sense. It's deeper than that, but just at this level, he's in a sense anthropomorphized the earth. The earth is calling. Gaia is saying, hey, somebody come and reap this wheat. Somebody come and dig this ditch. Somebody come and plow this field. Somebody come plant these seeds. Somebody come to me. Come to me. The earth is calling her. And the earth calls her through the shoe. So that in a sense, in a very abstract sense, and I'll get deeper in a second, but at this sort of almost comical level, the earth beckons her through the shoe. The silent call of the earth. By virtue of the reliability of the equipment, she is sure of her world. Her world makes sense because the shoe functions as it should. She is defined by her work. And thus, the shoe is literally an implement of her profession. But it's also an implement of her identity. There's a very real sense in which this expo marker, as banal and as trite and as mundane as it is, defines who I am as a person. It really does. It does define me as a person, right? And you have implements that define you as a person. It's not bad, it's not good, it's not right, it's not wrong, it's not moral or immoral, it just is, right? So, in a sense, that last passage, by virtue of the reliability of the equipment, she is sure of her world. World and earth exist for her, and for those who are with her in her mode of being, only thus in the equipment, and we say only, and therein fall into error, for the reliability of the equipment first gives to the simple world its security and assures to the earth the freedom of its steadfast thrust. What in the hell does that mean? Insofar as we recognize the liquidity, the fluidity, the dynamism of this transitory state of falling in and out of form, and insofar as the form and matter are not functioning, well, it's a mere thing. It's a mere thing. But insofar as there is a convergence of form and matter plus the functioning of the intended use of the equipment, is no longer a mere thing. It then becomes what it is. The thing becomes what it is. And insofar as the thing becomes what it is, then we recognize in a very real sense that the architects of the expo, like this is a really huge plug now, right? This is where, hi, buy expo markers. I mean, it's not, I'm not